Welcome to the FnF Victory Road Draft League Season 2. This season is going to be a whole new season, which can be totally different from the first season of the FnF Victory Road Draft League. And after the FnF Victory Road Draft League Season 1 ended with Noel's team, Mystical Chain, coming out on top, we have new teams coming to try and claim the champion title. All new coaches as well. Well, not all new, some returning coaches and some new ones. So this is sure to be a very exciting league, and I do hope that you enjoy this journey. This video is going to be the introduction video where I'll be explaining some of the rules and how the league works, as well as looking at the draft league document, which is something that you'll need to rely on a lot. So definitely make sure you watch this video if you're unfamiliar with the league, and also if you're familiar, just so you can see what changes have been made. Before I start, you should make sure that you are in the FnF Discord server. If you are not in the Discord server, you can join using the link that will be in this video description today. And you could also DM me on Discord. I'm Noel, #5229, and I'll be able to give you an invite link if you're not part of it. Second of all, you're going to want to make sure that you do have access to this draft league document. I will be putting the link to the document in the description as well. So today I'm just going to be going over some of the rules of this document. So first of all, something has changed. Well, let me start with the projected start date. As you can see, the projected start date is going to be April 18th, 2020. So it'll be a little bit more than a month from now if you're watching this video as soon as it goes up. And something different is that Quest Requested has actually stepped down from League Organizer. He will still be participating, he's just been really busy and doesn't have the time to put in for managing a league. I will still be a League Organizer, and then Noob Scrub is going to be joining me as League Organizer, so be sure to give him a warm welcome as a League Organizer. Quest was very fun to work with, and Noob Scrub is as well, so I'm sure it's also going to go smoothly this time around, just like last time. This time I do want to have 16 total coaches. Last time we had 14, and the reason I want 16 is because I changed the playoffs format a little bit, so we'll be going over that soon. The league will take a little bit longer because the playoffs are going to be, instead of just 3 weeks, it's going to be 6 weeks. So the time bumps up from 17 to 14 weeks. It could be shorter, likely it will, because playoffs in the last league actually took very short. I think it took like a week less than what we thought it would. So keep that in mind. This total length of 17 weeks, please make sure that you can commit to this length. And I'm going to be saying this again and again, but I need people who are sure that they will be able to put in the time for this league. It is a big commitment. You can make it as big or as small as a commitment you want. You could spend hours practicing each week, or you could just make your team really quick and do your match. But understand that if you don't schedule and do your matches, it is a big inconvenience on me, on Noob Scrub, and on everybody else, and I'll be going into that more. So please only apply and participate in this league if you are sure that you can make the commitment to this time frame. And just so you know, 17 weeks from April 18th, I believe, goes into August. So that April, May, June, July, August. Make sure that you're good to go at least once a week doing a battle in that time frame. The system will be Swiss, so you will not know your opponents ahead of time. It's going to try to pair you with an opponent that's similar in your ranking. So if you won one and someone else won one last week, you'll probably be faced versus a person like that versus someone who lost. So that makes it more challenging the more wins you amass, and a little more forgiving the more losses you amass. So you'll get a score based on wins and losses, and then differential will be just how much your Pokemon, let's say you got 4 KOs and the opponent lost, you'll be at a +4 differential, and that adds up and then is used later. So the top 8 players will go into the playoffs, which is a double elimination bracket, and this will be based on win-loss, differential, and then in the case of a tie, we'll have a tiebreaker match. And then playoffs will be best of 3, so these are going to be a little longer. Each week you only do best of 1, but then once you get into the playoffs, it's best of 3 with 30 minutes between matches to make any edits you want. So I'll give you a little sneak peek. Here we have the playoffs bracket and also the losers bracket. So it's double elimination this time. All 8 will be playing in this winners, quarters, finals, and then people will advance accordingly or move on to the losers bracket where they'll have one more chance to clinch it all. So that's the structure of the league. Let's take a look at that draft. Just like last time, you're going to get 1 Pokemon from Tier 1, 1 from Tier 2, 2 from Tier 3, 2 from Tier 4, 1 from Tier 5, 1 from a Mega Tier, and then 4 free picks. That's 12 in total. And you could draft these Pokemon in any order that you want. Additionally, you'll have 400 points to spend on 4 Pokemon, which are considered your free picks, and they could be chosen from any tier. Of course, the different tiers have different points, and you'll have to look at that. So if we look at the draft page, as you'll see, you have 400 points in total. Tier 1 is worth 200 points. So with those 400 points, you could get 2 Tier 1s, and then the other 2 would have to be Tier 5, 0 points. You could get 3 Tier 3s, and then you even get 4 Tier 3s, etc. Okay? And then finally, the Mega Tiers also have points. You spend 50 points when you're picking from this tier. You don't spend any, and then you actually receive 50 points if you pick from Mega Tier 3. That's how much these Megas kind of suck. Not to put them down. They can be useful, just like any other Pokemon. But yeah, that's something to take into consideration. Your picks will be tracked here, Coach 1, Coach 2, etc. Here are your points, and as you get Pokemon, they will be listed in these tiers. Okay, and once they're listed, they will be read on the draft page, so people will know that they cannot get that Pokemon. Additionally, you can give 2 Z Crystal privileges to your Pokemon. One of them can use Z moves as attacks. One of them can use any Z moves, so status Z moves as well. And then the draft order will be randomized. So it'll be randomized and then it goes up and down in a snake fashion. A note, those Z Crystal privileges will be permanent unless you use up a transaction. So be careful when you pick those. You have to pick them at the end of your draft, not at the beginning. You'll have 24 hours, I believe, to pick those Pokemon. 12 hours. Alright. Additionally, you'll have 12 hours to pick your Pokemon before your turn is skipped in the draft, so just make sure to check the channel when the draft is happening. So we also have trades and transactions. Starting on week 3, you can trade or transaction a Pokemon. A trade is trading a Pokemon with another coach. Transaction is trading a Pokemon for an unused Pokemon. You'll have 4 transactions and 2 trades. And just make sure that you stay within the same tier. So you have to just keep those allowances here. You have to have 1 from Tier 1, 1 from Tier 2, etc. And stay within the point total. So you can switch around your free picks a little bit to make sure you stay within the point total. Also, you could rearrange, like if you have a Tier 2 free pick and a Tier 2, you could switch those two. So as long as you have 1 of each tier that you need and then you're within the points, you're good. You could also exchange Z Crystal privileges. You could do this when you trade a Pokemon and you want that new Pokemon to have Z Crystal privileges. Or you trade away a Pokemon with Z Crystal privileges. Something new about this season is that you can use 1 transaction. Okay, that's right here. You could use 1 transaction to switch a Z Crystal privilege from one Pokemon to another. So you don't have to even trade a Pokemon or transaction a Pokemon. You just use up 1 transaction and you could say, okay, my Mew now gives its Z privilege to my Audino. Okay? So like I said, 2 trades and 4 transactions throughout the whole season. This is not in playoffs. It's only before playoffs. So make them count. And the exchanges will start Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, depending on how the week ends. I'll be announcing that, so just keep an eye out for that. Usually at 2 p.m. EST, but it'll change. I'll be tagging people for it. And then also you could trade a Pokemon for an unused transaction. So if you say, hey, I want to have one of your transactions, you could trade one of your Pokemon for that, and then transaction an unused Pokemon. Be careful, because once you trade a Pokemon, it can't be placed on your team again. So if you trade away Porygon 2 and you want it back, you can't get it back. And then, yeah, like I said, not for playoffs, it's just up to week 10. Alright, so the battle rules are... there's a lot. So let's look at these. They have to be valid for Gen 7 Ubers. Your teams must be valid for Gen 7 Ubers. So the following bans are in effect. Species Clause, Evasion Clause, OKO Clause, Endless Battle Clause, Sleep Clause, and Evasion Clause. And there's also Pokemon with certain ability restrictions. I believe there's only 3, Blaziken, Greninja, and Landorus Incarnate. You may only use the abilities that are listed in the draft. For Blaziken, it's Torrent. For Blaziken, it's Blaze. For Greninja, it's Torrent. And for Landorus Incarnate, I believe it's Sandforce. And the unlisted abilities can't be used. So you can't use Speed Boost Blaziken, for example, okay? Fully evolved and legendary Pokemon not listed in the draft are banned and can't be used. So if you look at the draft and you're like, oh, where's Deoxys? Well, it's not listed. It's not listed because it can't be used. Note that an unevolved Pokemon that's not listed counts as tier 5. So if you go to the draft and you're thinking, okay, I'm in tier 5. Hey, where's Abra? I don't see it. It's alphabetical, but I don't see Abra. It counts as a tier 5 Pokemon. It's 0 points. Okay? So just keep that into consideration. So unreleased items in Pokemon can't be used, and then certain abilities can't be used. Power Construct and Moody. And then finally, Baton Pass can't be used. So Baton Pass is banned. You cannot use it even... like, you can't even have it on your moveset, okay? 6 Pokemon on the team's roster must be brought to each battle. Okay, so you can only use Pokemon that you have drafted, of course, and you have to bring 6 every single time. You can't bring 5, can't bring 4, can't bring less. It has to be 6, okay? If you don't follow this, you'll automatically count as a forfeit, so please follow it. Drafted Mega Pokemon cannot attack in their base form. This is a change from last league. In the last league, we had a rule that they may attack once in their base form. This time, they cannot attack in their base form at all. Okay, so you have to Mega Evolve before you select a move. And by attack, I mean use any move. Even if you're using Protect, even if you're using Endure, Will-O-Wisp, anything. Okay, so please make sure you do that. However, you can switch Mega Pokemon in their base form if you don't attack. So you could switch in Gyarados to something and then switch right back out without having to Mega Evolve, okay? But do take into consideration this. The first offense is that it has to be switched out and can't be switched in for 3 turns after the switch out turn. The second offense is that the match may count as a forfeit. And if it's clear that you're using the first offense to take advantage of a strategy like Protect Sharpedo or Prankster Sableye, it might go straight to the second offense, because you don't abuse this rule, okay? The Mega Pokemon, when you draft them, count just as Mega Pokemon. They don't count as their base form because their base form is drafted separately. So they must be holding the Mega Stone. They must not Mega Evolve. Alright? Very, very important. I'll actually add that. Drafted Mega Pokemon must hold the Mega Stone and may not use moves in their base form. So they have to be holding the Mega Stone. There was a lot of talk as to allowing Mega Pokemon using their base form, but not only would I have to change all the tiering, but it would also mean that once you draft, for example, Mega Gardevoir, regular Gardevoir is also drafted, and I like people having the option to be able to draft Gardevoir even if Mega Gardevoir is drafted, just as an example. So I decided against that. There was a discussion had, but ultimately we went with this because it allows for more Pokemon diversity in the drafting process. Someone drafts Gyarados, you could still get Mega Gyarados. Someone drafts Mega Garchomp, you could still get Garchomp, okay? So that's why this has happened, so take it into consideration. The Z moves, if you use a Z move you're not authorized to lose, it automatically counts as a forfeit. Be very careful, double check your sets, make sure you give Z moves only to Pokemon that can use Z crystals. The battle timer should remain off. If someone's stalling by not selecting a move, then they'll be forfeited, but you could take your time, don't worry about that. It's only if it's very clear that you're intentionally stalling by not selecting a move. PP stall is fine, regular stall is fine, but if you're just not selecting a move, then that's a problem, okay? You can use a damage calculator, and I encourage you to do so. And if someone disconnects, stay in the room, okay? Don't forfeit. Do not leave the room, stay in the room, and then we'll decide what happens. We'll wait a little bit, maybe their internet connection went off, but if you stay in the room, they could come back and continue the battle later. If enough time passes, that the room expires, or the person doesn't come back, then it'll be counted as a forfeit, but you must stay in the room. If you throw a match, also known as sandbagging, that's just not allowed. Don't do it. Put your best into every match. Everybody's going to be putting their best into every match. Don't disrespect other people by toying with them, playing easy on them, trying to manipulate the score by facing... Just don't do it, okay? During a match, you cannot give advice or receive advice. You can't tell someone what to do, or someone can't tell what you to do. What you should do, and then somebody obviously can't play for you, you can't play for somebody else, okay? This could be a direct expulsion from the league. No coaching during matches. You're on your own during the match. You could practice before the match, but not during, okay? And you cannot forfeit. Even if it seems bleak, play until the end. This is because differentials are calculated based on complete battles, okay? So if you forfeit a match before all the differentials can be calculated, we're not sure what Pokemon gets the KOs, we're not sure which Pokemon did what, and that ruins the score, and it's inconsiderate to the opponent. It's just bad sportsmanship. Don't do it. You might be expelled from the league. If you do, please don't do it. Alright, so that's the battle rules. We're going to continue on with scheduling. Each week, you're going to schedule one match. In the regular season, the week starts on Monday and ends on Sunday, but might start a little earlier if we finish all the matches. Important playoff matches have to be completed in one sitting, okay? So please consider that. There's 30 minutes in between matches, and it's best of 3, okay? So it's up to 30 minutes, so you might be able to start if you both edit your team or have no edits, if you edit it fast. But yeah, keep that into account with playoff matches. We won't be there for a while, but just remember. You can request to play early or late ahead of time if there are circumstances that require it, and it'll be handled on a case-by-case basis, but you need to speak up because this is a Swiss system, and so each week affects the next one, okay? You have to schedule your matches in the Discord channel. And please do it fast because getting people to schedule is kind of a hassle, so just make sure you do it so that we can have things running smoothly. If you don't schedule or put effort into scheduling the match, or you don't show up at the correct time and you don't get it done that week, you will be the loser. That's a forfeit, so you might possibly face expulsion from the league. Okay, so just make sure you schedule. Scrimmaging, aka practice matches, they're allowed, but you have to declare who you're practicing with publicly in the channel. You could also look for a practice partner in the channel, and then it's going to be listed in the schedule page. So as you'll see in the schedule page right here, scrimmage partners, that's where it's going to be listed. Okay, this is very, very important. It's for transparency's sake. I actually need to add another row. It's for transparency's sake. Last league, I practiced with a lot of people, and I had some people messaging me, oh, look, can you take a look at my set? And it would be the opponent of someone I'm practicing with. And I'm like, hey, I have knowledge now that means I can't help this person because now I know what you're going to use, and I can't help you because I've been helping the other person. So this is just for transparency's sake and to make sure that people know who's practicing with who, so that they don't practice with someone who has a conflict of interest or something like that. Okay, so always do that. Practice only with people in the league. It's supposed to make us like closer as like a family. It's like a nice positive atmosphere. And only do it in the scheduling. Declare publicly so that I could put it in the scheduling tab. But practicing is fine and it's encouraged. Forfeiture, like I said, it's not allowed. Do not forfeit. Don't forfeit. Do not forfeit. Don't forfeit in the middle of a match. Schedule all your matches. Do all your matches. Commit to this. Okay. If you have any doubts about how, if you could commit, please do not join the league. There's a lot of people who, if you forfeit or you leave or you drop out, it's going to affect them negatively. It's going to be a really, really hard thing for me and Noob Scrub to scramble to find a replacement, and the replacement will have an inherent advantage or disadvantage depending on what your win-loss is, plus the fact that they didn't get to draft their own team. So please only join this league if you are sure that you can complete it and you are sure you will not forfeit. Okay? Make sure you save a replay. You could upload your replay at the end of the battle. You have to have a replay. If you don't, if there's no replay that exists, you're going to have to do the battle all over again. The first one won't count. And then finally, try to schedule with a commentator, because I will be making sure that there's video commentary for each battle in this league. Okay? Alright, we move on to the other rules. We're almost done with the rules. I know this is quite a bit, but I just want to be crystal clear on the rules. So the Discord server has rules listed in the guide channel. You must follow them at all time. This includes, most importantly, the proper sportsmanship rule: no insults, threats, discouragement, sandbagging, excessive self-deprecation, etc. This is a positive atmosphere league. We are trying to be positive. We want to have fun. This is not something super serious, so you should not be putting other people down. Don't insult their playstyle. Don't insult them. Try to have fun and be nice to people. That's it. Once you enter a battle, you have to play it. You can't leave to edit, so be sure to double check everything. If you make a mistake, like you forget a move, you can't go back and edit it. Okay? You can seek advice from other people, but I encourage you to make your own teams. Try not to do everything for someone else, because this is, a test of how someone else, how each person can do their own thing. So try not to do things for people, but you can give advice. Okay. Leaking information is not allowed, as well as intentionally trying to find out specific information somebody is going to use in a battle. That's not allowed either. Okay, so if you say, oh, can you find out what Noel's going to use in this next battle so that I know what to use versus Noel's team, that's not okay. Also, if you do find that out and you're like, hey, I could tell you what Noel's going to use, that's also not okay either. Okay, that's sabotage. That's really mean. Don't do it. If I find out, expulsion. All right. So yeah, this is for fun. All kinds of people are going to be playing. Please be respectful, positive, and Noob Scrub and I will add rules as we see fit. Finally, this is just miscellaneous. Differentials, how they work. -1 to a Pokemon when it faints, +1 to a Pokemon that KOs a different Pokemon with a move or an ability. This includes hazards, so if Stealth Rock kills a Pokemon, the Pokemon that set it up gets it. Status, if a Pokemon was toxic, the Pokemon that inflicted the toxic gets that KO. If a Pokemon KOs itself via recoil, self-destruction, self-inflicted status, etc. And this includes Healing Wish, things like that, Memento. +1 is granted to the Pokemon that last harmed that Pokemon in any way. So if the last harm was toxic, the last harm was Stealth Rock, if it was an attack, anything. But if there is no harm done, then no +1 is granted. Also, if a Pokemon recovers to 100% HP, despite prior damage, then it won't apply either. So let's say Staraptor was hurt by Stealth Rock and a weak attack. If it roosts to 100 and then never takes damage from an opponent, only recoil kills it, then no one will get the +1. Kind of complicated, you don't have to worry about this too much. This is just for me and Noob Scrub to use. In the cases of a forfeiture, +3 goes to the winner and -6 to the loser when no match is played. Alright? In the case of a mid-match forfeiture, I better not see any of these though. I don't want to see this. But if it does happen, the forfeited player will get -6. The winner will get either +3 or +N, where N is the number of KOs currently obtained on their team. So if they have +5, it's +5. It's whichever is higher. Okay? Points will be awarded for KOs to the winner. If there's not enough KOs to reach 3, then the last Pokemon out will get enough so that it reaches 3. Okay? And then the loser's Pokemon will not receive +1 for any KOs. They'll all get -1. Finally, if there's a team replacement, a coach drops out and somebody else comes in, they can change the logo and the name. It's not required. They can transaction 6 Pokemon at the time of acquiring the team. So you can edit half the team. That's not required either. Your exchanges are restored to the original amount, so you'll have 4 transactions and 2 trades. That's after you do the 6 transactions, if you want to do that. That's a one-time thing. You'll keep the win-loss ratio, but you'll have the differential reset to 0. Okay? So that's all the rules. I know that this took kind of long, but I just wanted to be crystal clear about these. Let's move forward pretty quickly. Looking at the document. So the directory here, we have this really cool picture by Colin. Thank you, Colin, for making this. This is where all the teams are going to be listed. The summary page, this is going to be your best friend, okay? This shows the standings of the regular league here, the MVP race standings, which auto-updates, the playoff standings, which will come later during the playoffs, along with the brackets. You can see all the coach teams here. So Coach 1, Coach 2, etc. The Pokemon will be listed here. And then right under, so this is for Coach 1, this is for Coach 2, this is for Coach 3, etc. You'll see the opponent, including the one for the week that comes up. Okay, it'll be from this drop down. And then you'll see the record, how much they won by or lost by, the total, and their win-loss record. Okay? So be very familiar with this document, especially the summary page. The draft is only to use when drafting. If it's green, that means it's available. If it's red with the coach filled in, that means it's not available. Right now, every Pokemon is obviously available, but as it goes on, you'll see a lot more red. Okay? So keep track of this during the draft. Schedule page is when matches are being scheduled. The matchup will be listed here, and then the day, the time. If there's going to be a recording that's live, so this rather live recording. Well, it'll say live or replay. Commentators will be listed here. The background music will be listed here, and then this is where you list all the partners you have for the week, if any. This is going to be the weekly battle page is going to show the matchups between people each week. So the coaches will be listed here, the Pokemon they used, their kills and differential, the total score, the replay and the video will be listed here. And then this will go into the Pokemon data, which will be updated. Alright. The coach for the Pokemon will be listed in the middle. And then their KD, the amount of kills and deaths will be there, along with the usage amount and their differential. Okay? This column right here, this first one, is in alphabetical. This one is going to be updated in order of the highest score. Alright? So keep track of that, but the top 10 of the second column will be on the summary page under the MVP race. Here is where exchanges will be listed. Pretty self-explanatory. You'll see the coach, what they release, what they add, what the exchange type is, whether it's a transaction, trade, etc., and how many they have left. And then finally we have winners bracket and losers bracket matches here. This is for the playoffs. We will cross that bridge when we get there, but it works just the same as the regular weekly battles. Alright? So that is pretty much FnF Victory Road Season 2 League document review and the rules. If you have any questions, feel free to message me on Discord, and I could answer. An application is now up, alright? So I will be putting the application in the description below, so please make sure to apply if you're interested, only if you're sure if you could commit, remember. But if you can commit, I do hope that you do join and you have a lot of fun with me and the others in the league. It's going to be a good time, and I hope to see you there. Alright, so this concludes the Victory Road Draft League introduction video. Applications have officially opened, and remember that the league is set to start on the 18th of April. That's a Saturday, okay? The projected start date is Saturday, April 18th, 2020. All right. I hope to see you there.